Ho Chi Minh City holds first dialogue on sustainable growth, technology, and energy policies. On the morning of September 18th, the Ho Chi Minh City People's Committee coordinated with the Vietnam Business Forum, VBF, to organize the 2024 Policy Dialogue Program with the theme, Creating Momentum for Sustainable Growth, Optimizing Economy, Technology, and Energy. The 2024 Policy Dialogue Program with the theme, Creating Momentum for Sustainable Growth, Optimizing Economy, Technology, and Energy on the morning of September 18th. In his opening speech, Vice Chairman of the Ho Chi Minh City People's Committee Vo Van Hoen said that science, technology, innovation, and the Fourth Industrial Revolution have increasingly profound and multidimensional impacts on countries. This is also an opportunity for Ho Chi Minh City and other provinces to improve their technological level, production capacity, and accelerate the transformation of the growth model based on science, technology, and innovation. But it also poses many challenges in solving the problems of employment, inequality, and the gap between rich and poor. This is the first time that the Ho Chi Minh City People's Committee has coordinated with VBF to organize the Policy Dialogue Program. Ho Chi Minh City, with its tradition of dynamism, creativity, and breakthrough thinking, has always made constant efforts to be worthy of being the economic locomotive, the financial center of the whole country, and an economic floating bridge to neighboring regions, especially the provinces and cities in the Southeast region and the Mekong Delta, Vice Chairman Vo Van Hoen shared. Recently, Ho Chi Minh City has issued a Green Growth Action Plan for the period 2024 to 2030 to implement the National Strategy on Green Growth towards Sustainable Development in the city for the period 2021 to 2030. In addition, Ho Chi Minh City has been developing orientations and policies to create momentum for sustainable growth, optimize the economy, technology, and energy. In particular, promoting high value-added industries with high technology content, green financial services, and green industry, encouraging businesses to transform from traditional production to advanced, clean, sustainable production models, and creating a favorable business environment. Ho Chi Minh City and the provinces and cities of the Southeast and Mekong Delta regions have cooperation agreements related to mechanisms and policies for regional development, synchronizing the transport infrastructure system, health, education, regional development planning, promoting science and technology development, digital transformation, and developing high-quality human resources, attracting talents to the region. The 2024 Policy Dialogue Program includes 2 sessions. Session 1 focuses on the topic of optimizing the economic ecosystem, logistics strategy, human resources, tax, and investment. Delegates focused on discussing logistics and supply chain development, visas, work permits, and temporary residence cards, upgrading skills for the Vietnamese workforce to meet global demand for artificial intelligence, AI, semiconductors, aerospace, high-tech design, and manufacturing, and reforming administrative procedures in the investment and tax sectors. Session 2, which focused on promoting a sustainable future, covered topics such as alternative energy and smart technology, the development of renewable energy, the promotion of carbon emission reduction in the aviation industry, a sustainable future path and potential input materials in Vietnam, the use of sustainable cooling to support the implementation of nationally determined contributions, NDC, and the digital transformation in agriculture. Following a slight decrease in July 2024, down 0.09%, credit in Ho Chi Minh City increased again in August 2024. By the end of August 2024, total outstanding credit in the area reached over 3.7 million billion VND, up 0.75% compared to the previous month. According to the State Bank of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City branch, by the end of August 2024, total outstanding credit in the city reached over 3.7 million billion VND, up 0.75% compared to the previous month. It also increased by 4.68% compared to the end of the year and 11.28% compared to the same period last year. Thus, after a slight decrease in July 2024, down 0.09%, credit increased again in August 2024. Compared to the same period in previous years, in the first 8 months of 2023, credit in the area increased by 3.26% compared to the end of the year. 2022 increased by 11.29%. 2021 increased by 5.68%, and 2020 increased by 3.6%. Mr. Nguyen Duc Len, Deputy Director of the State Bank of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City branch, said that when analyzing credit activities in the area in the first 8 months of the year, some specific trends and results can be seen. Firstly, foreign currency credit makes up a small portion of total outstanding credit, accounting for about 3.6%. It has been steadily declining in recent months, but it began to increase again in August 2024, with an increase of 0.8%. This development is consistent with the city's import-export situation and positive exchange rate developments. In particular, stable exchange rates and foreign exchange markets are also factors that positively affect production and business activities in general and import-export activities in particular, said Mr. Len. Second, local bank credit activities continue to focus on supporting businesses. Specifically, the implementation of debt restructuring to maintain the debt group in accordance with Circular 02 and Circular 06 mechanisms persists, aiming to alleviate business difficulties, ease the burden of debt repayment, sustain production, and generate cash flow for development. Currently, nearly 43,000 local customers and businesses have had their debts restructured, with a total outstanding debt of VND 41,498 billion. In particular, the disbursement of preferential credit packages through the Business Banking Connection Program has reached a high level, with disbursement reaching VND 425,659 billion in the first 8 months of the year, equal to 83.3% of the scale of the credit package registered at the beginning of the year. With 146,906 customers supported, reduced lending interest rates, debt restructuring to maintain the debt group, preferential interest rate loans and import-export loans, etc. Third, lending to 5 industry groups and sectors that are the driving force for economic growth, specifically, the import-export sector, small and medium enterprises, the rural agriculture sector, supporting industry, and high-tech enterprises continued to maintain positive growth rates in the first 8 months of the year. According to the Deputy Director of the State Bank of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City Branch, the total outstanding loans to 5 industry groups reached VND 1,688 billion, up 0.7% compared to July 2024. In particular, outstanding loans to small and medium enterprises continued to maintain a high proportion, accounting for 82% of the total outstanding loans in these 5 industry groups in the area. If you look at the credit growth of each credit institution and the system of credit institutions by market share and credit institutions, state-owned commercial banks, joint stock commercial banks, joint venture banks, foreign banks, and finance companies, the credit balance of joint stock commercial banks and state-owned commercial banks still makes up a big part of the total credit balance in the area and grows faster than other sectors. As a result, Mr. Len commented, this will be an important factor in contributing to credit growth in the last months of the year, when credit institutions in the sector are allowed to increase their credit growth limits, creating conditions to meet capital needs for production, trade, and service activities. Developing green agriculture, which aims for sustainable and environmentally friendly agricultural production, is one of Vietnam's top priorities in its socio-economic development policy. Deputy Minister of Planning and Investment Nguyen Thi Bich Ngoc, agriculture currently contributes about 12% of Vietnam's GDP, providing livelihoods for about 30% of the workforce. Deputy Minister of Planning and Investment Nguyen Thi Bich Ngoc, agriculture currently contributes about 12% of Vietnam's GDP, providing livelihoods for about 30% of the workforce. On September 17, the National Innovation Center, NC, the Ministry of Planning and Investment, in collaboration with the Vietnam-Australia Association of Intellectuals and Experts, the SIA, organized a workshop on promoting green innovation in agriculture through market mechanisms. The program not only aims to provide updated information on promoting green agriculture through market mechanisms and enhancing green innovation in agriculture for domestic enterprises, but also is an opportunity to promote cooperation, increase investment between Australia and Vietnam, and build a sustainable connection. According to the information at the workshop, Deputy Minister of Planning and Investment Nguyen Thi Bich Ngoc stated, agriculture currently contributes about 12% of Vietnam's GDP, providing livelihoods for about 30% of the workforce. However, this industry is also facing major challenges such as climate change, with the forecast that the Mekong Delta, the largest rice granary in the country, will lose from 500,000 to 1 million hectares of agricultural land by 2050 due to rising sea levels, causing annual losses of up to 3% of GDP. Therefore, green agriculture is emerging as an inevitable solution for sustainable development in Southeast Asia. With rapid economic growth, the region is facing environmental and climate change challenges, requiring a strong transformation in the agricultural sector. Vietnam, with the advantage of being an agricultural country, has enormous potential to develop green agriculture. Investment in technology, a young workforce, and the government's support policies have all created favorable conditions for Vietnam to successfully implement green transformation in agriculture, said the Deputy Minister. However, Deputy Minister Nguyen Thi Bich Ngoc noted that to fully exploit this potential, Vietnam needs to overcome a number of barriers and challenges. One of the major challenges is that human resources, especially high-quality human resources in the agricultural sector, are still limited, lacking experts and teams that can master technology and high techniques. In addition, the proportion of untrained rural workers is still high. Advanced farming methods, sustainable land management, and efficient resource use require proper training for farmers. In addition, access to green technologies, new crop varieties, and investment capital is limited. Startups in the green agriculture sector also face difficulties in connecting with experts, accessing markets, and expanding production scale. Additionally, addressing the lack of infrastructure and resources is a major barrier to promoting the development of these businesses. Within the program's framework, the workshop's panel discussion provided updated information, guidance, and recommendations on promoting green agriculture through market mechanisms to address challenges in transitioning to green agriculture and comprehensive sustainable agriculture in Vietnam. Speakers, guests, experts, and businesses discussed the following topics: financial incentives for farmers to move towards green production in the rice sector, quantifying the costs and benefits of farmers in implementing low-emission farming techniques, carbon credit certification, guiding farmers and businesses through the process of converting environmental benefits from low-emission farming techniques into tradable carbon credits. We provide recommendations to assist farmers in implementing climate change mitigation measures through the carbon credit market. At the workshop, Associate Professor Chu Hong Long from the Australian National University provided a comprehensive and objective analysis of the financial incentives for farmers to move towards green production in the rice sector in order to determine the costs that producers have to pay, thereby specifically assessing the economic benefits that producers receive when applying low-emission rice farming techniques. Presenting on guiding farmers and businesses on carbon credit certification from practical examples, Dr. Nguyen THAY, Australian National University, gave solutions to help growers and businesses apply low-emission farming techniques to turn environmental benefits into carbon credits that can be traded on the market. Ho Chi Minh City develops urban green areas to ensure safety and efficiency. On cue, urban green trees are the main culprit in an increasing number of tragic accidents, raising the question of how to quickly develop and expand urban green areas while ensuring effective exploitation and people's safety. In less than a month, Ho Chi Minh City has had 3 people die because of falling trees. This has raised concerns about the unsafe state of green trees, highlighting the need to fix numerous loopholes in urban green areas across the country, including Ho Chi Minh City, to ensure safety. The shower season, people are fear falling trees on September 4th. In the afternoon of rush hour, Ho Chi Minh City experienced a strong thunderstorm. A woman over 50 years old was walking on the road, passing near the intersection from Duong Vang to Huyen Mandat, District 5, when suddenly a large branch of a 25-meter tall oil tree broke and fell on her head, causing her to fall unconscious on the spot and later die at Cho Ray Hospital. A large branch of a 30-meter tall oil tree suddenly struck 2 out of about 10 people, aged 270, in the group while they were walking to exercise in Tao Dan Park, District 1, in the early morning of August 9th. The branch broke and fell, causing immediate death and injuring 3 others. According to a brief report from the Ho Chi Minh City Green Parks Company at the time, both instances of broken branches falling on passers-by were still green and healthy, showing no signs of rotting. The broken branch in District 5 was caused by heavy rain and strong thunderstorms, while in District 1, the sky was clear and cloudless, showing no signs of rain or thunderstorms. After inspection, this unit confirmed that the broken branch had internal defects but no external manifestations. Functional units in Ho Chi Minh City not only conduct inspections and trim tree branches to ensure safety during the rainy season, but they also carry out these tasks regularly and periodically, with a particular focus on the start of the season. However, no rainy season is without unfortunate incidents. For example, on the afternoon of September 24, 2020, a thunderstorm uprooted an old tree on Nguyen Tri Phuong Street, near the gate of Ho Chi Minh City University of Economics, District 10, crushing and killing a man on the road and causing damage to many vehicles and properties. On the evening of August 22, 2023, a man on his way home from work sought shelter from the rain under the shade of a tall banyan tree in Phuc Bin Ward, Thursday Duc City. However, a storm uprooted and crushed the tree, resulting in his immediate death. Reviewing some recent unfortunate incidents related to urban trees reveals many gaps in the management of trees and urban green areas in Ho Chi Minh City, both in terms of expertise and technique. These include the lack of use of modern methods to measure, calculate, and predict potential events. Many tourists are choosing green, sustainable tourism as the mainstream trend. Tourism developers and localities cannot afford to ignore this trend. The development of ecotourism is closely linked to the image of coconut trees, which contribute to the unique features of Ben Tre tourism. Illustrative photo. The development of ecotourism is closely linked to the image of coconut trees, which contribute to the unique features of Ben Tre tourism. Illustrative photo. Ben Tre has the advantage of being the capital of coconut trees, accounting for over 47% of the total coconut growing area in the country, with more than 79,000 hectares, compared to the whole country's about 170,000 hectares, and is believed to have the potential to store from 1.9 to 5.8 million tons of CO2. Along with many other localities, Ben Tre Province has also identified and strived to make tourism a spearhead economic sector and develop sustainably by 2030, becoming a particularly attractive destination with high competitiveness. To achieve this, the Ben Tre tourism industry places a strong emphasis on developing key tourism products, including ecotourism. Developing ecotourism closely aligns with the image of coconut trees, contributing to the unique features of Ben Tre tourism. For an extended period, coconut ecotourism has consistently prioritized proximity to nature, safeguarding the tourism environment, fostering green tourism, and providing visitors with engaging activities and experiences. Activities such as a day as a farmer, riding a horse-drawn carriage on the village road, rowing a sampan in the water canal, visiting fruit gardens, ornamental plants, other traditional craft villages, etc. are imbued with the ecological character of the Coconut River and are very attractive to tourists. Mekong International Travel and Event Organization Company, formerly known as Nam Mekong Company, has implemented green tourism products and responsible tourism across all business segments. These initiatives include an experiential tour program at the Coconut Processing Village in Cho Tom, a visit to the winemaking village in Ba Tri, Phu Le Sac Phong Ge Tu Wine, a survey of Phu Sunflower Village in Cho Loc, a survey of Tan Phu Fruit Garden, and a survey of the Jong Trom Sikon OC route. Creating green tourism is not just a desire from tour operators, but also a requirement from tourists, who not only want to experience and relax on their trips, but also want to demonstrate their responsibility to the community and the local environment. Regarding tourism products associated with coconut, Mr. Don Quoxi said, "We always innovate and diversify tourism products suitable to market demand and increase the experience for tourists." For tourism products in Ben Tre, Mekong Travel and Event consistently prioritizes the exploitation and development of valuable products and services derived from coconut trees. This approach aligns with the tourism value chain, resulting in a diverse and rich array of tourism products and services that reflect the unique characteristics of the river delta, the land of coconuts, and cater to the growing needs of tourists, particularly those in the high-end and international tourist market segment. Another typical green tourism product in the Ben Tre locality is the Green Passport, Net Zero Passport Tour. This is the Green Passport, Net Zero Passport Tour, which was implemented by C2T Media and Tourism Company Limited, a member of the Safe Destination Initiative, in collaboration with the Institute for Applied Research and Business Innovation, 3AI. We are piloting a new tour in Ben Tre, which is also the first in the country. The tour will provide each participating tourist with a net zero passport. This book will record travel activities, items taken and returned at each destination. Participants can continue to use this special book to control what they do the next time they return to Ben Tre Coconut Land. The tour guide for the Net Zero Passport Tour will instruct tourists on how to enter their information into this book. Simultaneously, the tour guide will provide more information about which products, when used, contribute to carbon emissions and which products reduce emissions, allowing for immediate compensation during the tour or the best compensation options afterwards. Additionally, during the train journey, tourists can engage in an entertaining game where they arrange the pictures to reduce carbon emissions. For example, compare between eating a coconut and a durian or between durian and jackfruit, which one will lead to carbon emissions. Green tourism takes off from fishing villages. Green tourism is not only a guarantee for sustainable tourism development, but also a solution to increase the number of tourists with high spending and awareness, as well as civilized behavior when participating in tourism. Hangzhou is known as the million-year-old natural village gate of Vong Vang Fishing Village. Hangzhou is known as the million-year-old natural village gate of Vong Vang Fishing Village. According to a recent survey by TripAdvisor, 34% of tourists are willing to pay more to stay in environmentally friendly hotels, and 50% of tourists accept higher prices for companies that bring benefits to local communities and conservation activities. In Vietnam, the Sustainable Tourism 2024 report by online travel platform Booking.com also shows that up to 75% of Vietnamese tourists feel more encouraged to practice green living every day after witnessing sustainable tourism activities. 94% of them want their trips to be more environmentally friendly and culturally friendly. From peaceful coastal fishing villages to islands or towns, Vietnam has a number of ecotourism and community-based tourism destinations suitable for each group of tourists, helping them immerse themselves in diverse cultures. Typically, since the beginning of the year, Vang Vang Fishing Village in the heart of the World Natural Heritage Ha Long Bay has welcomed tens of thousands of visitors, mainly international visitors. Before 2014, this floating village was home to 30 households and more than 300 fishermen across many generations. Currently, in Vang Vang Fishing Village, there are about 30 floating houses, but there are no fishermen living there. However, during the day, they still come here to fish and raise small-scale aquaculture to both make a living and perform for tourists. However, kayaking or rowing a boat to see the fishing villages in the heart of the World Heritage Site only makes tourists satisfy their eyes, but not satisfy their hands, because there are no other activities to keep them staying longer, such as swimming, squid fishing, fishing with fishermen, or enjoying dishes with the identity of fishermen. In the low season, the ancient fishing village of THAY is emerging as an ideal community tourism destination for Cat Ba Island district. Similarly, with a diverse and rich natural ecosystem and the almost original lifestyle of the ancient fishing village, THAY is emerging as an ideal community tourism destination for Cat Ba Island district in the low season. To reach THAY commune, visitors currently have two ways to travel. One option is to walk 10 kilometers and take about 6 to 7 hours to cross the core of Cat Ba National Park Reserve's primeval forest. Another option is to take a boat or canoe from Bia Wharf through Lan Ha Bay for 30 minutes to the island. Both of these ways of traveling offer visitors different and intriguing experiences. Nguyen Phi Hung, the chairman of the People's Committee of THAY Commune, stated in his introduction that THAY village formed approximately 150 years ago. The village has an area of 141 hectares, home to 90 households whose main occupations are farming and fishing. Thanks to its rich ecosystem with diverse terrain including mountains, forests, sea, and small islands surrounding it, THAY is also known as an island within an island environment. From October to April, the popular image here is of international tourists leisurely cycling, walking around the village, rowing boats, fishing, or trekking up Hai Quan Hill, which is 700 m above sea level. Duan Duc, the general manager of THAY Ecotourism Area, Hamlet 1, THAY Commune, stated that the village currently has less than 10 households running community tourism businesses, and only half of them have accommodation services. Other households only participate in some types of boarding services, such as bicycle rental, fast food, coffee, etc., to serve tourists during the day. However, these are also services that generate passive income for the people of THAY Fishing Village, in addition to agriculture and fisheries. Similarly, Quang Nam Province, with 125 kilometers of coastline, has nearly 20 fishing villages with a rich and unique fishing culture. In recent years, several fishing villages in Quang Nam, including Tan Ton, Qua Ki, Tam Ton, and Tam Tien, have been developing products that blend the traditional fishing village identity with the island environment, experiential tourism, and resort tourism, thereby drawing a large number of tourists and benefiting the local residents. In particular, in the past 3 years, Qua Ki Fishing Village, Tangbin District, has been an attractive destination for tourists who love community tourism. Speaking at the opening of the workshop, Mr. Vu The Bin, chairman of the Vietnam Tourism Association, said that recognizing the urgent need for environmental protection for the country's sustainable development, VITA has been active, proactive, and strongly taking action to implement the goal of reducing plastic waste in the tourism sector. Mr. Bin shared that since 2018, the Vietnam Tourism Association has launched the movement, Vietnam Tourism, joining hands to reduce plastic waste, and has received positive responses from tourism businesses nationwide. Numerous businesses and localities have made significant progress in reducing plastic waste. Based on the proposal of the Vietnam Tourism Association and the Global Environment Facility's Small Projects Funding Program, the United Nations Development Program, UNDP/GFSGP, has approved the implementation of the project, Reducing Plastic Waste in Vietnam's Tourism Sector, in the 2 years 2023 to 2024. After 2 years of pilot implementation in Quang Nam and Ninh Binh, the project has now ended with many specific and practical achievements. These include the development and completion of the criteria for evaluating and ranking Vietnamese tourism businesses, an app on plastic waste, and training courses to improve awareness skills for businesses and local people on reducing plastic waste. VITA will develop and issue an action plan on plastic waste reduction in the tourism industry within the project implementation framework. This plan will serve as a basis for VITA members to carry out plastic waste reduction activities in a systematic and highly effective manner, thereby contributing to the achievement of the goals set out in Decree 08/2022/NDCP of the government, which details a number of articles of the Law on Environmental Protection and the National Action Plan on Ocean Plastic Waste Management to 2030. Evaluating the effectiveness of the project, Ms. Nguyen T. Thursday Huynh, coordinator of the Global Environment Facility's Small Projects Funding Program, United Nations Development Program, UNDP/GFSGP, commented that the project, Reducing Plastic Waste in Vietnam's Tourism Sector, started about 17 months ago but has achieved very positive results. Until now, everything we have designed has taken shape, and the project has created a number of tools to guide how to do it, such as the criteria for recognizing plastic waste-free tourism businesses and the Plastic Waste Management Application, app. In particular, the 2 localities participating in the pilot program are Ninh Binh and Quang Nam, the pioneering tourism businesses that registered to participate in the pilot application of the criteria for recognizing plastic waste-free tourism businesses and the Plastic Waste Management Application, app, have achieved effectiveness through practical implementation, Ms. Huynh said. According to Ms. Nguyen T. Thursday Huynh, Booking.com has contacted the project to base the criteria for recognizing plastic waste-free tourism businesses in rating the stars for service establishments on the site. Representing the State Management Agency for Tourism, Deputy Director of the National Tourism Administration Van Siu commented that the contents of the project, reducing plastic waste in Vietnam's tourism sector, have gone a long way. And the National Tourism Administration highly appreciated the results of the project. The implementation process for this project demonstrates that the Vietnam Tourism Association and member units of the tourism industry have looked in the same direction and walked on the same path to unanimously develop green tourism and sustainable tourism. The project has significantly reduced plastic waste in tourism while also deeply orienting Vietnam's tourism towards green, sustainable tourism, ensuring a consistent approach from input to output and implementation across the entire tourism ecosystem. Deputy Director Van Siu stated that specific goals and targets with clear KPIs, such as how many people receive training in green tourism or how many destinations, hotels, and resorts achieve a green index, are necessary to prolong and promote the project's results and achievements. Ms. Duong T. Ton, president of the Ninh Binh Tourism Association, stated that Ninh Binh, one of the 2 localities benefiting from the project, has achieved numerous results after more than a year of implementation. The image of Ninh Binh has undergone a positive transformation, and Ninh Binh tourism consistently receives praise for its high-quality services and favorable tourism environment. Up to now, Ninh Binh has implemented almost all of the plan and deployed the project's training content to businesses and the province's tourism community in a comprehensive manner. By 2030, the goal is for 100% of Ninh Binh province to not use plastic waste in tourism. Ninh Binh continuously implements training on not using plastic waste in tourism. In addition to businesses, there are also communities participating in training at facilities and reception centers. The leader of the Ninh Binh Tourism Association asserts that Ninh Binh's approach begins with the community. Without community involvement, implementation is unfeasible. Without environmental preservation, sustainable tourism is unfeasible, thereby raising the community's awareness. Nowadays, many businesses' marketing strategies include increasing brand awareness through product packaging. However, the use of plastic bags or plastic in food and beverage (F&B) packaging not only negatively impacts user health, but also has significant environmental consequences. When we store coffee, bread, and hot processed food in plastic bags or cups, the food degrades due to the presence of toxic substances in the packaging. This will create pathogens that are harmful to the body. There are many innovations to meet takeaway needs. Following the COVID-19 pandemic, the demand for disposable plastic products for food and beverages has increased, as has the development of online food ordering services or takeout food and drinks. An estimated 78 million metric tons of plastic packaging is produced worldwide each year, but only a small proportion is recycled after use, with the rest ending up in landfills, floating in the ocean, or being incinerated. Ipsos, a market research firm, recently conducted a survey involving 20,000 individuals from 28 countries to determine the feasibility of banning single-use plastics. The results showed that 3/4 of respondents supported the ban and wanted it immediately. Some governments have made progress. The most recent and comprehensive was the UK government's announcement in January of a new law, due to come into effect in October, that will ban retailers and caterers across the hospitality industry from using items such as plastic cutlery and takeaway containers, as well as wet wipes. Despite its patchy implementation across different states, India's ban on single-use plastics from July 2022 has sparked a movement for alternative packaging solutions. More and more restaurants and eateries have ditched takeaway cups and offered customers their own water cups to take with them to their next purchase. Mumbai-based startup Recube, which makes reusable containers, supplies reusable cups made from crop waste, such as rice husks and bamboo fiber, to over 500 F&B outlets in India. Recube's customers include international chains such as Baskin-Robbins, Taco Bell, Cold Stone Creamery, and more. The trend has also spread to food delivery companies. GoBox, a US-based food delivery service, and Deliver Zero use reusable food containers. After use, customers can drop off their plastic containers at a designated location for GoBox to collect and wash for next use. Deliver Zero, a New York-based company, delivers food in reusable plastic containers that customers simply return to the courier with their next order. Most recently, Australian startup GoDaddy produced edible coffee cups made from a blend of rye, wheat bran, oat bran, sugar, salt, coconut oil, and water. We expect the product to replace the standard single-use polyethylene-lined paper cups used for coffee. The company currently produces about 500 cups a day for customers across Australia, including coffee shops, roasteries, and concert venues. They say the cups remain rigid for about 40 minutes for hot coffee and do not leak for about 8 hours for cold drinks. GoDaddy aims to increase production and expand international sales this year, but it's not the only startup making edible cups. A Latvian startup is offering edible cups in a variety of flavors, spoons made from oat fiber and cocoa pods, and straws made from pasta. Meanwhile, Cupfee, a Bulgarian startup, has been making edible coffee or tea cups since 2018. Nowadays, many businesses' marketing strategies include increasing brand awareness through product packaging. However, the use of plastic bags or plastic in food and beverage (F&B) packaging not only negatively impacts user health, but also has significant environmental consequences. When we store coffee, bread, and hot processed food in plastic bags or plastic cups, the food undergoes degradation due to the presence of toxic substances in the packaging. This will create pathogens that are harmful to the body. There are many innovations to meet takeaway needs. Following the COVID-19 pandemic, the demand for disposable plastic products for food and beverages has increased, as has the development of online food ordering services or takeout food and drinks. An estimated 78 million metric tons of plastic packaging is produced worldwide each year, but only a small proportion is recycled after use, with the rest ending up in landfills, floating in the ocean, or being incinerated. Ipsos, a market research firm, recently conducted a survey involving 20,000 individuals from 28 countries to determine the feasibility of banning single-use plastics. The results showed that 3/4 of respondents supported the ban and wanted it immediately. Some governments have made progress. The most recent and comprehensive was the UK government's announcement in January of a new law, due to come into effect in October, that will ban retailers and caterers across the hospitality industry from using items such as plastic cutlery and takeaway containers, as well as wet wipes. Despite its patchy implementation across different states, India's ban on single-use plastics from July 2022 has sparked a movement for alternative packaging solutions. More and more restaurants and eateries have ditched takeaway cups and offered customers their own water cups to take with them for their next purchase. Mumbai-based startup Recube, which makes reusable containers, supplies reusable cups made from crop waste, such as rice husks and bamboo fiber, to over 500 F&B outlets in India. Recube's customers include international chains such as Baskin-Robbins, Taco Bell, Cold Stone Creamery, and more. The trend has also spread to food delivery companies. For food delivery, US-based GoBox and Deliver Zero use reusable food containers. After use, customers can drop off their plastic containers at a designated location for GoBox to collect and wash for next use. Deliver Zero, a New York-based company, delivers food in reusable plastic containers that customers simply return to the courier with their next order. Most recently, Australian startup Goodeddy produced edible coffee cups made from a blend of rye, wheat bran, oat bran, sugar, salt, coconut oil, and water. We expect the product to replace the standard single-use polyethylene-lined paper cups used for coffee. The company currently produces about 500 cups a day for customers across Australia, including coffee shops, roasteries, and concert venues. They say the cups remain rigid for about 40 minutes for hot coffee and do not leak for about 8 hours for cold drinks. Goodeddy aims to increase production and expand international sales this year, but it's not the only startup making edible cups. A Latvian startup is offering edible cups in a variety of flavors, spoons made from oat fiber and cocoa pods, and straws made from pasta. Meanwhile, Cupfee, a Bulgarian startup, has been making edible coffee or tea cups since 2018. Enjoying meals through digital platforms is no longer a trend, but it is gradually becoming a reality around the world. The Park Hyatt Bangkok Hotel in Thailand is the first place to implement the digital meal idea in 2020. Here, guests will enjoy 3D dishes at the Embassy Room restaurant, a restaurant located on the hotel's premises. According to the Bangkok Post, the meal will begin with the appearance of a tiny chef named Macro Polo. This virtual chef will lead guests on a unique culinary journey projected above the dining table. Macro Polo will take diners from one country to another, from France to China, to create the meal's menu. In addition to Chef Polo, a series of supporting characters such as birds, boats, and fire dragons will also appear to make the diner's culinary journey more attractive. People love theater, they love movies, they love technology, and of course they love food, said Sebastian Krak, director of food and beverage at the Park Hyatt Bangkok. So, Little Chef Polo will combine all of these to serve diners. This is a high-end and fun dining experience. The digital meal costs $124, making it one of the most expensive meals at restaurants in Bangkok. Another type of digital dining experience is that diners can observe the dish from multiple angles before deciding to choose it. In New York, burger chain Bear Burger and bakery chain Magnolia Bakery are also encouraging diners to use AR food models to preview dishes before ordering. In fact, AR technology has been around for a long time, but its application to the restaurant industry is completely new and unique. Alper Guler, product manager at QReal, which produces the augmented reality dining model, said, "We used a photogrammetric process, taking images of dishes from different angles and assembling them to create a 3D model. After taking the photos of the dishes, it took months to optimize the models to work on the AR platform." However, gradually Apple, Google, Facebook, and Instagram all developed AR features on their platforms, and that changed everything. According to Guler's assessment, the trend of virtual reality cuisine will develop further in Asia. This model is currently very popular in China. I believe AR will be able to compete with the Samperu dish model in Japan because it does not need to use plastic. According to SCMP, New developments will also help you taste the flavor of any dish you see, even if it is very far away. Researchers in Tokyo, Japan, developed the technology to enhance culinary experiences for people with dietary restrictions due to health or weight issues. The researchers said about the purpose of this virtual reality technology, there are many people who cannot eat food properly due to weak jaws, allergies, and diets. We want to help them satisfy their preferences and enjoy their daily lives. The main principle of this technology is to use electrodes to amplify the sour, spicy, salty, sweet, etc. flavors of food. However, sweetness is more difficult to simulate than other flavors. Even though there is no food in the mouth, users feel as if they are chewing some food due to the tactile feedback provided by electrical muscle stimulation, said Nijima, a scientist at the University of Tokyo. Nijima and his team will develop the idea by learning more about the muscles in the jaw to create more complex structures and combining electrical stimulation with other sensory inputs, such as chewing sounds. In Osaka City, Japan, a cafe named Anywhere, set to open in May, is garnering attention due to its immersive virtual travel experience. The cafe is located in a 70-year-old house on a historic street. Inside, the furniture is still traditional, such as tatami mat seating on the floor. However, the cafe allows visitors to go anywhere in the virtual metaverse. This gives a sense of reality through a floor-to-ceiling window. Specifically, the scenery outside the cafe window will change to different destinations when customers wear virtual reality glasses. In early March, the virtual universe's exterior scenery was an Okinawa beach. In one part of the virtual space, customers can listen to descriptions of Okinawa's attractions as well as enjoy a live Sanshin instrument performance. Although still under development, the cafe said it will add features such as a garden screen displaying the scenery of the northern Japan Alps. Customers will be able to enjoy the view while savoring famous sweets from the area. The cafe is also planning to install a dome screen in the garden so that visitors can watch sporting events. In recent years, Vietnam's information technology has become a strength. As the artificial intelligence technology industry enters its next phase of development, both the government and businesses are actively embracing and advancing this new technology through both short-term and long-term strategies. Particularly, we expect the increasingly active participation of startups in this field to genuinely forge new strength for national technology. According to the market data platform Trọn, Vietnam currently has about 278 AI startups. Meanwhile, according to the Ministry of Science and Technology, in 2023, Vietnam will have about 3,800 startups. This means that AI startups currently account for nearly 10% of Vietnam's total number of startups. Creating a favorable environment for AI startups in an interview with Vietnam Economic Magazine/VN Economy Association, Professor Dr. Bui Thursday Lam, Vice President and General Secretary of FISU, commented, Vietnamese small and medium-sized enterprises are very responsive to the new wave of technology. They see AI as their strength, so the number of startups in this field is constantly increasing. In the coming time, artificial intelligence will make new strides, contributing to the development of Vietnam's economy and society. According to Professor Dr. Chu Duc Trinh, rector of the University of Technology, the development of artificial intelligence in Vietnam is an inevitable trend because this is inherently a Vietnam strength. The number of technology enterprises in Vietnam in general and artificial intelligence in particular will increase sharply in the coming time. In fact, many alumni of the University of Technology are starting businesses in the field of artificial intelligence, and they consider this technology both an opportunity and a strength for them. However, when comparing the startup environment between Vietnam and some neighboring countries, they believe that foreign markets are somewhat more open and favorable than the domestic market. Goldman Sachs Economic Research predicts that global investment in AI technology will increase rapidly and reach $200 billion by 2025. In the context of the rapidly increasing AI wave, the number of startups in this field worldwide is extremely large, but in reality, the success rate is not much. Professor Dr. Chu Duc Trinh believes that nearly 300 AI startups is not a large number. Vietnam needs to challenge the prevailing norms and explore strategies to increase the success rate of AI startups. The creative policies of the government, ministries, and branches will be critical conditions for encouraging domestic startups to grow strongly. Startups are always considered the key force in creating momentum for market development in any field. Therefore, a favorable environment with necessary support conditions will encourage the formation of AI startups to enhance Vietnam's competitive position in this new field. According to Professor Dr. Chu Duc Trinh, if the government wants to support the development of artificial intelligence startups, it needs to have policies that create practical conditions for them, such as supporting startups to rent offices at low prices and creating conditions for startups to access advanced information technology infrastructure at affordable prices. The failure rate of AI startups worldwide is very high. Startups cannot commit to anything, but let's just support their passion for startups. When they succeed, the results they return to society will certainly be more than the initial investment for them, Professor Dr. Trinh affirmed. Leveraging human resources and ascending a different path, according to a report by Thundermark Capital, Vietnam is currently in the top 30 in the world for AI research. With this achievement, Vietnam joins Singapore as one of the 2 representatives of Southeast Asia in this ranking. Despite Vietnam's relatively high ranking in terms of its efforts to master AI technology, experts candidly assert that Vietnam's advantages are comparable to those of other nations. Therefore, Vietnam must acknowledge this reality and take a different approach. In many countries, the lack of human resources is becoming a difficult knot to untie, especially the shortage of human resources for high-tech development. Experts all view this as an opportunity for Vietnam in such a general context. With a young, tech-savvy, eager to learn, and well-trained population, human resources are an important factor in developing the artificial intelligence industry in Vietnam. To take advantage of this opportunity, according to Professor Dr. Chu Duc Trinh, the government needs to pay attention and invest more in the education sector to train young human resources to serve the high-tech industry in general and the artificial intelligence sector in particular. Accordingly, high schools in the coming time need to improve training and promote STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Universities and colleges need to increase output standards, approaching the output standards of the world's leading schools, to ensure that Vietnamese students after graduation will not be surprised when participating and working in an international environment. Investors are no longer as genius. According to Mr. Vang Not On, director of Du Ventures Investment Fund, in the past 2 years, the total amount of investment in Vietnamese startups has decreased significantly compared to the peak period in 2021, when the total investment amount reached more than $1.4 billion. Currently, this figure is only about $500 to $600 million per year. However, a bright spot in this picture is that although the investment amount has decreased sharply, the number of investment deals has only decreased slightly. This shows that investment funds are still interested in investing in startups. But instead of investing large amounts, funds are focusing on the early stages of startups, and the investment amount for each deal tends to decrease compared to before, said the leader of Du Ventures Investment Fund. However, we also need to frankly admit that the global edtech sector is currently going through a not-so-bright period and is not the most brilliant period. According to Mr. Vang Not On, a positive aspect of Vietnam is that families consistently prioritize education as one of their top spending priorities for their children. Parents consistently prioritize education, resulting in a significant interest from investors in Vietnam's education sector. Investors, however, are now more cautious in making decisions and no longer invest as freely and generously as before, although the level of interest is still very high. Education remains a top priority for foreign investors approaching the Vietnamese market. Ms. Đào Hồng Loan, CEO of THAY, said that Vietnam has huge market potential in the education sector, with 22 million students aged K-12. The government spends about 15% of the national budget on education, while families spend about 38% of their budget on their children's education. However, the education market is currently in a difficult period, like a winter. Raising capital for companies in this field has become much more difficult, and they are struggling to continue developing their businesses. Macro signs such as economic recession, high inflation, and rising unemployment rates all show that the market is in trouble. Many education businesses have had to close, and parents have become more sensitive to tuition fees. In addition, the rate of new enrollment and student renewal has shown signs of decline. This is the typical situation for many education businesses in Vietnam today. Businesses with the right development strategy still have the opportunity to attract investment. Accordingly, the business's products need to be unique, create a difference, and have the potential to penetrate the market. Second, the founding and leadership teams must have experience, capacity, and especially the ability to manage in the current business context. Investors will prioritize businesses that do not depend entirely on capital raising to maintain operations. If a startup can only survive thanks to continuous capital raising, attracting investment at this time will be very difficult, said Ms. Đào Hồng Loan. Therefore, teams need to demonstrate their ability to adapt to the current difficult economic situation, such as by cutting costs and increasing employee efficiency. It is important to demonstrate management and operational capacity in the process of working with investment funds, proactively demonstrating their ability to manage. Ms. Đào Hồng Loan believes that the financial picture of a business plays a significant role. Currently, to be able to raise capital, businesses need to pay attention to revenue and cost indicators. Venture capital funds are often looking for businesses that can sustain themselves and make a profit, even if only a little. As long as the business has a clear vision and a capable team, the opportunity to raise capital will be higher. Creating social impact, a big plus for attracting investment in particular. Another important trend that venture capital funds are aiming for is indicators of sustainable development and social impact. If startups can focus on these indicators, such as supporting students in remote areas, helping disadvantaged women, or supporting sustainable and green development, they can expand their portfolio of potential investors. Although this concept is relatively new in Vietnam, more and more investors are interested in businesses with social impact factors. This will be a big plus and can help expand the ability to attract investment, said Ms. Dao Hunlan.